The only other thing I had was the Small Cities Workshop. They're having a topic on improved dilapidated and abandoned properties. Learn of ways your city can improve dilapidated and abandoned buildings and properties. Properties are an eyesore for the community, and cities are often forced to deal with them. This session will focus on identifying these properties through the nuisance abatement process and then cover what remedies the city can pursue. So there's, I think Adam and I talked about going, and Terry talked about going to the one in Sioux Rapids.
I signed up for one.
Did you?
Whichever one's the closest one.
Sioux Rapids or Eagle Grove, probably, because...
It wasn't Eagle Grove, so it must have been Sioux Rapids.
Yeah. The rest of them are a long ways away from here, but...
Well, along those lines, Shirley, you know, has anybody here got any ideas on how we can get homeowners, business owners to take more pride in the appearance of their property, other than, you know, the stick issue? You know, is there, you know, okay, if you don't do it, we're gonna, you know, fine.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I was like,
The stick.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus, you know,
But there again, if you do it one or two times, people are going to see that they mean something. I think for the last 3 years, I don't even know why we meet. We
talk about properties.
Right. You know, every time we try something, we get our hands slapped.
Hey, you go to court and you still don't.
Yeah, and you still don't get anywhere.
well, you know, what I'm trying to find is a new way to approach some of the property owners, and maybe a different way that, you know, we could get some pride generated community involvement in, you know, like, hey, you know, I want to fix up my property. I want to get the darn thing painted. I need to get this fixed up. You know, how we could achieve that
I don't know how you
versus,
instill it. It's a great thought, but
you know,
Yeah,
I was just
no,
curious
you know,
if
we
anybody
can't
had
even
any
get the
thoughts.
I think Laura's doing a pretty good job trying
Yeah.
to encourage them to do this with the programs that she has.
The High 20 meeting.
The Highway 20
Yeah,
meeting, you know,
that was
we're
a
going
good
to get the whole
example right
council
there.
there,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah.
And,
Well-
and it's just like everything is, you know,
It
I'm
has
a business owner on Main Street. If I can't get the people off of Highway 20 to come to my business, I might as well leave.
And then you want to make sure that it's a pleasant trip into town.
Right.
We want to make sure that we
Right.
instill some pride in. I don't know
Right.
unless everybody starts putting it in their newsletters and things
Right.
like that.
Well, you know, the average, you know, the people that own the property, you know, they're not going to be reading, some of these people are not going to be reading newsletters, you know, Shirley.
Half the town is blocked from the SCTD newsletter by IP anyway. So they're not seeing it.
Blocked from it. All they have to do is go to the website.
No, it's IP blocked. I don't know who or what did it, but half the town can't get to your website.
Oh, really?
Are you not aware of this?
No. Nope. Never had anybody tell me that before. Everybody always says, no, we just go there and look at it, so. There's diamond vocal programs where you can get paint. Are you in the landfill? Aren't people taking?
Oh,
No,
yes.
I'm just, were people taking paint that they hadn't used out to the landfill? Do they have it stored someplace? I mean, if somebody wanted, they have a place down by Des Moines someplace, I can't think of the name of the town now, where if you need gallons of paint to paint your house, you just go to this place, it's like a recyclable, and you take whatever color you want, and out you go.
My understanding is the only paint they take out at the landfill has been paint that's dried, is going to pre-dry.
Oh, I thought
We won't even pick it up
Yeah,
until it's
yeah,
already been
that's-
pre-dried out.
Oh, I thought they could have,
That's a different program. what
hazardous
she's talking
waste,
about, I think.
yeah, where you just take paint that you have left over.
What do they call it? It's not recycle, it's
I can't think what it is.
almost
now.
like recycle.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it before, but it's been a while.
But our biggest problem with commercial buildings is this asbestos inspection. Willie's was this
As far as
behind
tearing
the
it
new,
down, yeah.
car sales place, a minimum 50 grand.
But do we know, did the state put that building up?
Did the state put it up?
Since it was a liquor store at one time?
No, it was privately owned. It's always been privately.
Always been privately owned. Did it have to be built to a state spec to be
No,
up?
no.
I think it was kind of like post offices, you kind of build a building and go from there, so. Rent them out, if you're lucky, you can
But
lease it
this
out.
is really going to hurt small town Iowa.
Oh, it is. It's going to be terrible.
What would you like?
You know, unfortunately,
Well, you're right, Nick. I don't know if, the city can put articles in every week, or, if we can get some paint to help people, if 4-H kids and church groups would take on, especially elderly people, and help them out. But there are a lot of properties that just look like heck.
I'm sure the Verizon group would, Horizons group, I'm sure.
Okay. Partners for
Yeah,
Progress.
Partners for
Okay,
Progress.
you were losing me. I was like, that's a telephone.
I believe they had a inkling of a project in place for this. They really not found anybody to champion the project or anything for them, but I do think they were looking at this exact issue at one point.
It's something small, the school does some community service, 1 day, 2 hours. I mean, that has to be small, doable.
Well, another thing that I was thinking about driving home from Omaha the other day was setting up the possibility of sections of town, getting the community behind this, and having outside judges come up, who's made the biggest improvement, and then put some kind of reward out there for it, So just something, to get, and maybe an issue like that would get people, more motivated and more aware, because it's like, folks, we come in this room here every day, or, the ones that come in here, we get used to it. You see the same thing on TV, you're desensitized, and, whether it gets worse and worse and worse, or better and better and better, you don't realize it, until, like, you come home to your same house all the time, well, this is the way it's always looked, and you realize, well, maybe there's some things I need to do different. But the neighbor across the street, or somebody driving by, is going to go, whoa, what happened here, And I was just trying to see if there was a way we could get some of this awareness out to individual property owners and people that are living there, instead of, we're going to throw, you're going to wind up in court or jail here if we don't get this done. If we could get some kind of motivation, self-motivation, without getting a whole lot of government red tape, just something going on in the community that way. I just threw that out here now. Has anybody got any thoughts about that?
well, Nick, you said one thing here probably at a council meeting I attended about 3 months ago, and it was in regards to the streets. That if we could do 1 block of streets to show progress, I think people would jump on the bandwagon. But we haven't done anything to make progress in however long we want to look at it.
Well, the streets.
No, but I mean,
Yeah.
anything. If we take a street project, for instance, people are going to jump on that bandwagon. Maybe if we, like you said, let's take a district or have the 4-H club paint up 1 house or 2 houses. I'm sure paint's available. I'm sure it is.
You didn't buy it out in the street house,
Mhm.
that Kowska.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one we thought we probably had the most trouble with, and we got one demolished on North Fifth.
Right.
And complete remodel.
Did she buy that little brick in there?
Yeah.
Really?
I took her to court over there.
Yeah. Yeah, it
This
looks like.
looking better.
Yeah.
Which house?
Well, at 1215 Ogden,
that-
next to, between Segus's and the.
Yes, oh, yes, that's.
They gutted it clear to the,
Mhm.
Such a difference.
Looks like a nice, neat little house.
I think it'll be all right. I don't know how your lunch will come out on it.
I think that's a big thing. We've got to show some progress
Well, we need to-
somewhere.
And we
somewhere.
need to start from the top down and, maybe address it at a council meeting and.
Well, and you can address it at a council meeting until, cows come home, but until the people decide to do something, Shirley, that own these properties or live in them, that's not gonna force them to put paint on their house. That's not gonna force them to put their, they can put a piece of plywood over a window, but that doesn't mean that the window's gonna get fixed.
Can we send it?
But by just.
Rental.
What's that?
We have this issue with rentals.
Now, that's something that, a whole different ballgame, I feel. The rental properties, that if you're gonna, it has to, but I'm just talking about in general here, by saying it at a council meeting, or wherever, any government entity, is not gonna get the people motivated as well, I don't think. Because it's okay, they passed an ordinance, well, for whatever purpose, or a resolution. If your house needs paint, go paint it this summer. well, yahoo.
Well, we need to lead by example so that, other people, I mean, Curtis fixed the wall in front of his house. It looks 100% better,
so much better.
In fact, in case nobody's told you that, it does. So,
Curtis, did you need direction from the council to get it fixed?
Well, that's the thing. It wouldn't have mattered. All the boards and all of the commissions and all of the committees and everything combined, you got around 250 active people in this community. They all are husbands and wives. So that makes about 150 houses of people that are paying attention, which means there's about 900 people that live in houses that don't read your letters. They don't pay attention to what you're doing. They have no idea. You won't be able to lead them by example because they don't pay attention to you.
Unless they saw it. I mean, I'm kind of
Unless they saw it, right.
to his idea of that one city street. What if there was a block in town that was pretty rough and that block was cleaned up? Do the before and after and to visually see that, maybe that would start something. I mean, that's kind of what you
That's what
you're
they
talking
proposed
about.
with the streets. I think that's what we need to do.
The only trouble is it may need some
Yeah.
funding to help some of those people do that. I mean, they're not, maybe some aren't able to, willing to, and then where's the funding come from? We get into the money issue again.
Well, a lot of that's going to be labor intensive.
Mhm.
So you're talking a lot of major volunteer labor to do it,
Right.
guys.
Just at the last council meeting, you guys, when we were talking about the Highway 20 entrance, the city is going to donate some labor in kind. Right on down the line, along with some of these other things that maybe we can get done. But there's other projects on North Fifth Street that we gotta look at. I know Adam and I talked a little bit, and I think, what did you come up with, Adam? Wasn't it about $140,000? You thought for the total?
Well, everything that was being decided
Right,
and planned.
decided on the North Fifth. But I know there's a little bit of money yet in the chamber for possibly one sign that could go to the north to match the two. On
We
the
gotta-
east and the west.
we have to start someplace, and we need to
You gotta
start
start
now.
somewhere. You gotta
Yeah.
start somewhere. And if North Fifth is gonna be our viable entrance, a couple businesses, have talked, like Adam said, about the Sunwise building and things like that. I think maybe that's our avenue.
We just need a full volunteer day in the community,
Yeah.
a make a difference day. Mobilize everybody and you give up that time. I'd like to have them come help me paint my house, though. I'm a little widow. I have to paint 3 signs.
Getting back to the small city workshop, I've signed up. Since if you are moving your meetings to 6:30, which I assume you are based upon the appointment that was made, would you like me to come back and report to the group? I can do the handouts at the end that we come from and just let you know what went on there. I don't know that it would necessarily for us to send a ton of us up there if one of us could come back with the message and the information and show it to the rest of the group.
Sure.
I guess my whole opinion in that regard is I hope there's some teeth.
I'm curious to see, I'm hoping it focuses to some degree, and if not, I will push it to questions, to push it towards answering some of the legal questions that surround our problems right now. Because I think we find ourselves in much of a situation where we chase ourselves to find out in the end, a lot of times, we know there's not going to be any legal teeth after these type of issues, and so it becomes an issue of, you take something to the courtroom if you know in the end you're going to get a judgment, and the only thing that's going to come out of the judgment, you're going to end up doing it and putting
Yourself.
it against taxes that you're never going to get the dollars back from anyway. So,
Well, it's kind of like bullying and harassing at the school. We had to say a 0 tolerance, and we had to say, by golly, that's the way it's going to be, and everybody's going to go along with it. So if we set up a pride level or something, maybe that's what we're going to have to adhere to. But we have to, there's a lot of things that need to be.
Well, I'd rather have that addressed from the interest of the people instead of the government dictating, whether it's like this entity, city council, state, or whatever, to try to get people more aware of their own situation, to try to get them motivated instead of having this you know, the government coming down, I just don't.
Will you make an example of the city properties that you're putting your best foot forward at the city to clean
All
up?
right. City
I mean, will that
properties.
work?
All right, can you tell me of a city property that would qualify for
I
cleaning up?
I came through the cemetery today, that's pretty embarrassing. Signs, painting, all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, I'm not throwing this at you, I'm just saying, you ask for one, there's one. So,
Oh, the
Old
sign.
water treatment plant.
Water treatment plant.
I mean, we need
That's a
to,
good one.
if everybody's
Sidewalks.
gonna do it, we're gonna
Huh?
do it
Curbs,
together. Everybody's
sidewalks.
gonna do it.
Curbs and sidewalks downtown for sure.
What?
Curbs and sidewalks downtown.
Yep,
If we're gonna make a
That-
best
that's-
effort.
I mean, that's the face of our community.
for years that's been a,
But we need, like I said, we can't go out and ask the citizens to do it and not have the city address their properties, and we can't have the city, we can't put the fist on the city and not have the citizens address theirs either. We need to all do this together, somehow. We need to start a big campaign and hang posters in the grocery store and pass out flyers and stuff. I don't care what you have to do, but we need to figure out what it is we need to do. And maybe we can work with that committee.
And see, keep in mind, I'm kind of the newcomer on all this, all right? But believe me, compared to what we can get done at the farm to do a project versus having engineer, legal fees, we're talking any kind of government involvement. That cost just goes through the roof, folks. And that's why I'm saying, if we can do this without going through some of this, we can do it a lot cheaper.
You can also see though, Nick, if you take a look at Main Street in Lakeview, they've ended up with 3 or 4 new businesses since they put their streetscape in. So it's kind of a pride issue there. And downtown, people have taken and fixed up their buildings too, and it's because there's a new image there, and that's what we want. We want a new image everywhere. I don't know how we.
Was there's streetscape project wasn't on the main thoroughfare, was that?
Their Main Street, yeah.
No, I'm not saying
But it's
this.
not on
Not
the,
a highway.
It's not a highway, it's not a county road, or what, that's not either one of those, is that correct?
No, it'd be a
Where are you
city
going
street.
with this?
That'd be a
Yeah.
city-
Well, this will too. This will be a city street too by 2013.
I'm sorry, I thought it was going to be a county street.
No, in the city limits, it gets transferred to the city.
I know, but it's still farm to market road or whatever. I'm not saying. I'm trying to differentiate between somebody that's traveling. Just
like-
because it goes from a county road to a city road, that function is still served as the original intent of that road as a major thoroughfare through a city or a community.
Like Auburn, right? Because that's Highway 7.
Correct.
Okay.
The difference in Lakeview is that cityscape that they developed there is not a thoroughfare through that town.
Auburn's is.
I said Lakeview.
Yeah, I know. I guess I don't know where. They're going, where are you going with
My
this?
point
Yeah,
is,
okay.
the one in Auburn was, it could be a city street today or whatever, but I'm sure it's a major, that project that was completed down there through
Ryman.
I believe, and the one that was completed in Lakeview were at different locations in the city itself. Okay? One's on a thoroughfare and one's not.
Right, but they were their main streets. Yeah.
Correct. Okay, now the impact that the one in Auburn has had is comparing how to the one in Lakeview.
Good. I mean, they've opened up a couple businesses down there in Auburn too and built some new buildings down there. I mean,
What new businesses in Auburn?
the Ramsey one and the restaurant
No, that's-
reopened
that's
and
out of business.
the gun shop and,
Well, the gun shop was there before.
because they knew that was in the process.
No, that had nothing to do.
Okay,
Potoff
okay.
said that had nothing to do with his building.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm curious before
Sure.
this degenerates into a big fight. I know this has been a soapbox issue for you for a while, Nick. The people that you've talked to, what's standing in the way of them having pride in their property?
I can't answer that. Is it because we were referring to that desensitizing themselves, because they see it every day? I don't know, because I see that, sometimes even at, our house, the farm. Oh, I'm used to looking at it this way. I don't realize that maybe, well, gosh, if I did something a little different, that would look better. Until maybe somebody points that out to you, or maybe somebody, motivates you because you look over here and you see, well, that looks pretty cool. I may do that, Anywhere from like landscape to paint to changing appearances on your buildings, or anything in your. Sometimes when you get used to a certain way, that's just kind of instead of maybe looking at something. But to get back to the point on the property issue alone, which what you're probably asking, is I don't know how to motivate somebody to take a different look at their building or their house or their property, because they're used to seeing the junk in the front yard. Well,
Or don't care.
don't care.
Sometimes if you take a picture of it and hand them the picture, they don't realize.
We've done that in here.
Yeah.
I've driven by a place numerous times until you bring that picture and put it in my face.
I didn't notice that,
I didn't
yeah.
notice that, yeah. That's kind of what you're saying, too.
But I don't want to be offensive to somebody. Okay, take a picture of, like, say, somebody comes up and takes a picture of my house and hands it to me and goes, well, look at this piece of junk, when are you going to get it cleaned up? Now, I would kind of be a little offended with that. There has to be a better approach than that to try to motivate them to do that. And I don't know what it is. I'm just asking questions here. See if anybody had any ideas.
Betterment went to a town up in northern Iowa, I think it's called Grafton. When they went into town, they apologized because there was paint chipped on one house as we drove into town. Every other place in town was painted up, and they said, we're attacking that one next. It was like, okay. So I was
You accepted their apology?
Yes, I was, nope, that's fine, looked good to me. You should see some of the
That's
stuff. But anyway.
the growing lights are still on in the basement.
That's all bedrooms. I'll tell you what, there's three bedrooms and bedrooms.
Okay, well, we know we need to start, maybe we could work with the committee that, when's the next meeting?
18th, isn't it?
Tonight we have a school board meeting, so let's.
Third Monday.
Third
Yeah.
Monday of the month.
Maybe, Nick, you should come to that one and express to the Highway 20.
Highway 20.
It's the Chamber Main Street has a meeting.
What day?
It's on
Third
Monday.
Monday of the
Third
month.
Monday, yeah. And you don't have a council meeting. The 18th, is it? Is that
The
it?
18th.
No, you're looking at last.
Oh, okay.
It is the 18th.
18th, I thought it was.
This
the
isn't
18th.
right. I know it's not right.
I thought that's what it was, I had on the calendar.
Yeah, the 18th, yeah.
What time?
What time, Steve, do you know?
7:30, I believe, at the Iowa State Bank building, basement.
That's what meeting?
It's the Chamber Main Street. They have put together a community meeting. Dale, what's it called? Help me out here.
I don't know.
High 20? They call it High 20 or
High 20,
something? I don't know what it is.
I-20 something.
High 20
Task
something,
force.
yes. So, it'd be nice, I think, we're all in this together. We're either gonna make our town look like something and hopefully make all of our property appreciate value. Apparently mine did and I didn't know it. But anyway, that's I guess what we need to do. It has to be a concerted effort and we have to have, the city with us, so. Okay, Arnie, you're the new one. You have anything to say here?
No solutions.
No solutions, you know what? No money through USDA rural development for this?
There's not much money out there for it.
Yeah, and especially if the government closes down Friday, so.
Effective employer.
He's going to have some volunteer time on his hands.
I might.
We know the RCDs will, okay.
Arnie, have you seen anything happen around the area?
We take these.
Like we're talking about that something's
You can take
being
home
done?
either one. I put mine in my book, but I don't know.
Probably the ones
So.
I know of more are the ones we've already talked about, Auburn, Lakeview,
Okay.
Carroll.
Well, people are, I'll tell you, there's going to be a Casey's north of Early, on the north side of Early, and they're looking at some issues there too, as well as the property that Casey's wanted to purchase was half in the city limits and half in the county. Well, it's reasonable enough with their zoning ordinances over there that all they have to do is voluntarily ask to be annexed into the city. They have to be a part of the city or they won't hook up the water. Now see, this is some of the things that we need to be looking at to address as the highway comes closer, so. So anyway, we're working through one issue at a time. That case is over, we're supposed to have 16 homes. Gonna be a big one, gonna be the newest one around, so. Anyway.
Different than the one they have now, really, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, and it's time to update that one, but, okay, anything else for the good of the cause? We will try to meet then in May, is that okay? May 2nd, and if, we're looking for that second page at 6:30, and that we're looking for that second page of your plan, if you can email, somebody can email it to me, I can shoot it out to everybody so they can look at it.
We'll do that.
You looking at your emails yet?
Nope.
I'm gonna get you techie. We'll leave, Adam can print one off for you.
We'll get it in your mailbox tomorrow.
I looked the other day, I had about 1,800 of them that were open.
Oh, jeez. I think I delete all of them, start fresh.
I did.
That's like the eagle sitting on the nest, isn't it?
Delete. Somebody wants me, they'll call.
In fact, Adam, if you just send me the whole building permit, maybe there's something there that needs to be
Yes.
updated, so,
Sunday morning.
okay?
That's where I'm from.
Is that right, Decorah?
Yeah, not up in there.
Okay, anything else for the good of the cause? Meeting adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, you think we need a motion to adjourn?
I still move.
There you go.
Is that second?
Second, yep.
I thought,
All right.
Aye.